Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8.6. Okay, and of course we're playing as Germany here. So let's get this going. Now, a few minutes before I made this recording, which may tell you if you're paying close attention to the news, when I made it, it's reported that, it happened probably a little while ago, but reporting the USS Fitzgerald had a collision with a Japanese cargo container outside of the Japanese port where it's based. Man, saw a brief video of the damage. Considerable damage to the ship, and they say 3 compartments are flooding. And before I even read that, they showed a little bit of video. They were pumping out as much water as they could out of that thing to keep it afloat. But as someone posted, somebody really effed up, because they have a bunch of watchstanders that are supposed to be looking out, with binoculars. If they, I think all the watchstanders looking out will have binoculars around their neck if they need them, to see something like a big, huge freighter. And of course, there will be a watchstander at the radar, which should pick up the freighter. Now, I don't know the conditions because it happened at, I think it was like 2:30 a.m. So that's at night, and maybe the freighter was running without its lights that it's supposed to have, running lights, that it's supposed to have on it when it's running, which would make it hard to see, and if it's foggy or anything like that. But man, with what I would presume would be radar returns, that should have showed it there, and watchstanders should have been there watching. So I don't know. Those big freighters, I can understand why the freighter didn't see the destroyer, because those freighters are huge. But even that, be interesting to hear what the story is, because it's the captain's fault, of course, the U.S. captain's fault that it happened. But it'll be interesting to see what's the story behind it. Fire control solutions for light ships. Okay. And it's grayed out. Okay, good. And mountain unit command and control. So we'll be under special forces. And we'll let that continue. Well, we're going to let that continue. Let's see now for let's push ahead with that. Just so you understand why I know it's the U.S. captain's fault, is because it's the U.S. captain's fault no matter what happens to his ship. Period. It's his fault. That doesn't mean that he did anything wrong. Because everything I guess fault might not be the exact term. Responsibility. Everything that happens on that ship is his responsibility, or to that ship is his responsibility. Fire control? That would gray out, wouldn't it? What? Cruiser fire control system advanced. Okay. Was it so behind the times that well, I think we're going to leave that there for the moment. This one takes longer to get through, so we'll start that. Okay, Finland. You give them, okay, sure, you can have some fuel. No thank you, no thank you. No, it's too small of amount. Too small to want a shipping from Venezuela. But we still need, okay, let's look to see what we can find here. Japan, they're actually negative, I think mainly from helping us or selling to us. We may cancel that. Let's see the Netherlands. Will they sell to us? Yeah. There we go. Maybe they'll store up that money and we can take it back from them when we conquer them. So definitely had the tendency already in Hearts of Iron 3 to want to have trade relations with nations that I want to have good relations with, because it helps there. I don't think it really helps in Hearts of Iron 4. Definitely helps with your trade opinion with the nation to have trade going on. That helps, that's for sure. But I'm not sure that trading actually helps. But say like a nation like Sweden, we want to have good relations with them. It's been a long time, but I have seen the AI get Sweden to join the Allies or something like that. So we don't want that to happen. Not that I don't think we convince it diplomatically to join the Axis right now, but it might. But somebody like Turkey, and I do believe there is a I don't know, event or something that goes to tries to keep Turkey from coming too close to the Axis. But I would like to have good relations with them, and have them join the Axis if at all possible. So I want to trade with them to move them towards the Axis. Now with 4, you have a sort of, now of course a nation that, say like Britain, that may, I don't know, probably has most all of its resources it needs, but let's say it wants to buy supplies because it has all the resources it needs, and it wants to, I don't know how well the AI manages, the trade AI, but if it has all of the resources it needs, plenty of it, and it can sell a bunch of resources, it could use that money to buy supplies and not have to have factories make the supplies. So that would help Britain out, our future enemy. Now within 4, I'm more sensitive to that, because you actually, to buy stuff from Britain, you're giving them civilian factory use to build armaments factories or other civilian factories or whatever else. So you're actually directly helping them much more than in 3 when you trade with them. So I'm sort of used to that. Okay. Military police organizations have advanced, as you can see, from garrisons to tropical island garrisons to ST organizations. I'm not sure exactly what ST is. SA, ST. That's that. Oh, Standarta. I guess SS Standarta. Probably what it is. Or SA brigades. And then the various SA Ritters. And is there, and the Polizei Battalion organization all get bonuses of +3, so that's great. Now let's, is this where we find military police? No, it's improved security units. That would be down here, 38. Well, we're gonna wait on that. I'm gonna push somewhere. Broadcasting. It keeps seeming like when I get close to having enough rare materials, it comes back down. Okay, we just need, let's go. I don't necessarily feel I need to build up a lot more, but I would like to get it to not being costing us any. Okay, the Albert Leo Schutzlegator, sorry, keep butchering it, is another training vessel in the same class as the horse vessel. Horse vessel. No, sorry. Yeah, the horse vessel. Horse. Horse vessel. Yeah. Another training vessel out there, and so we will get until January 38. Plus 3% leadership modifier for having it out there. Look at that, as all those guys marching are all like cadets or whatever, junior officers of some sort, and they're getting tall ship training out there. And I do know that some of these vessels, and I don't know if this one, if it says here who was executed in 19, oh, this is another martyr executed by French officials. But some of these, and I don't know if this one, maybe we'll see, go on cruises around different places around the world to, okay, you're right on the order, to like the Caribbean and other places. And I'm sure, well, I know a lot of those, if not all of the officers, cadets, kept journals, and the journals, they would keep sighting information, they would draw pictures of the coastlines that they were seeing, where the harbors were, how it was to get in and out of the harbors, and all of this kind of information that would help them later to become good U-boat captains, in the sense of being able to, they've already sailed around the Caribbean, around the U.S. coast, or around the European coast, outside of the immediate German areas, and other parts of the world. So to have people that are experienced, they write stuff down, they learn about it, that helps them. Now, tall ship sailing may not be overly helpful for submarine use, but it definitely trains them with navigation and all that other type of stuff, and so it helps them out. Okay, the Unterseeboot Schule Flotilla. This is a school, but it's a school, well, I do believe those, I don't know if those are for sure classrooms, those are buildings, are part of it. There is, of course, shore face facilities. And I'm, even in Hearts of Iron 4, they keep putting this, there is a flotilla here. Yeah, I don't know how many there are. Okay, yeah. Oh, was that it? No, did I already move it? No, Hearts of... Oh, well, no. Oh yeah, up here, I was looking down there. U-boat Schule Flotilla. Just wanted a shorter name for it. They keep sticking it over here in Wilhelmshaven, and that definitely was, because from my research, already over in Kiel is where it was. And basically it had a collection of U-boats. It was founded in 1935. Moved the school to Neustadt, which... So, Holstein, Neustadt, Lübeck, I think maybe to here. Well, one of the German viewers may know better, but I think it's one of these ports along here. They move it to, and this may be the picture of the newer school. And so we can expand the school, supplies, rare materials, energy, metal, and some manpower to maintain the training staff. Or no, we're going to do that. I don't think that one does. Maybe it does. Maybe it's I think there's another event that will give us eventually a increase OOB of U-boats. Okay, Volksbund, and SSAP, the National Socialist Schweizerischen Arbeiters Party, basically the National Socialist Swiss Workers' Party, is founded in 1933. Now this is different than the National Front. This is, some of them are sort of breakaway elements of the National Front. One thing I've noticed, and not just in Switzerland, but in multiple of these countries, there's often competing fascist and or Nazi parties. Now, of course, we've talked earlier in Switzerland here, you had the Italian Swiss fascist, the French Swiss fascist, and then the German National Socialists, and they were all sort of competing for the far right, but not competing against each other, at least for the most part, in each other's territory. It was sort of defined by the territories, but the National Socialists were fractured, and we'll see some of the other groups. One of the things I thought was interesting, this is one of their sort of, it's not a postage stamp, it's more of a, you buy them and you stick them on envelopes, you stick them on stuff, this whatever, you know, just for cheap money, just sort of a promotional stamp, if you will. But and this is in 1938, the Swiss forbade the use of Swiss party symbols for Swiss parties. So this party is partially operating out of Germany. And so when they send this postcard, whether it was sent from within or sent outside into Switzerland, this verboten stickers were placed on it by the Swiss mail authorities. I thought that was very interesting. So they will let the postcard through, but they have ready-made stickers to stick on all of them in the post office or in some mail sorting area or wherever to cover up the offensive things. So the banning of the swastikas by Germany and other nations has already started in Switzerland at this time. Now, so all of the this party is minuscule and wouldn't really have much of an effect if it wasn't for the National Front already being there. So all of the photos of the National Front use the sort of the cross all the way out to the edge of Switzerland, but without the swastika in the center. But also at the same time, and I think I did mention this a bit, and throughout the rest of the time, the Germans living inside Switzerland continued to use Nazi swastikas legally. I mean, they could have them at their meetings, they could have the flags, they could do all that stuff because they were Germans and presumably not able to vote in Swiss elections. So they could use the Nazi symbols because they were foreigners, but the Swiss couldn't. So we will support them. Basically, I just gave them a tiny tweak of National Socialist support. Part of the reason, yes, we want money to support our income now of rare materials. It's not the main reason for the competing parties is many of the wannabe fascist dictators in other countries because I'm talking about multiple people. Some of it, I think, is very much they don't have the charisma to be a very good leader. Not to, and some of them I think may sort of do. Leon de Grelle, maybe that much. Now he was another odious Belgian Wallonian that a lot of neo-Nazis support, and you can find the stuff around post-war. Some of them may, but a lot of them don't have much of a charismatic element. Not that they can't do public speaking, but they're not going to be some galvanizing leader. So it's not so that whoever's leading the party, there's either other people that are already a part of the party or other people that come along later and join up, think, hey, I can do just as good a job, and so they sort of compete for the leadership within it and often break away. And the other part is that sometimes there is these competition, and somebody wins, and maybe the former leader loses a party vote or something, and leaves, and then tries to form his own other party. So there's this factional fighting, and well, whether they're not charismatic, or they're just incompetent leaders, they may be charismatic. Where I sort of think the Grail may be an incompetence. But looking at that now, because sort of picture her, picture Himmler trying to be the head of the Nazi Party, and think how well and how much support the Nazi Party would have gotten as Himmler as its face and leadership. Not very far. He was a very competent manager, administrator, but he was, and who knows how he was sitting around a table with a bunch of people, whether he would have been somebody that was good personality-wise that way. But if you've seen him publicly speaking, you've seen him film of him, so like some sports shots of him trying to do the shot put or something, just look pathetic. So he comes off as sort of a pathetic person in public speaking, where sort of club-footed Joseph Goebbels has a much better personality. I don't know if a personality that would have pushed the Nazi Party to victory, but he has much better personality, public speaking, than Himmler ever did. So just my take on it. You guys can disagree. And of course, in a way, in most cases, under most situations, extremism is not the answer. Let's see, what strategic effects are we currently under? Okay, we're a land power. We have the national highways. We have entertainment shows, small heroic tales, small news and politics, high popularity, German-Sino cooperation, road networks, rail, seaport, airports, global game balance. Not exactly sure what. Okay. I think that continues to go away as time. Well, yeah, let's. The year is at least 37 and before 38, so that'll go away. Time. Okay, the Anti-Comintern Pact. You can read about it in more detail. It was something originally put forward by Hungary, though they don't sign it initially. I don't know exactly why. I may have read, but I don't remember why they backed out of not signing it at this time. but the two first signatures are well, the first three I should say are Germany, there's Ribbentrop, Mussolini, and Japan. So stop the Bolsheviks. Or three at this point. So this is your last, because we went down with the Pact of Steel. Do we? Pact of Steel. Oh, of course they're not a member of the. And see, I've coded this up and changed it a little bit because the values are slightly different. Pact of Steel, you've got to get the access into the, even though we signed the pact, you got to get the access, or the Italy into the access with Germany. And then the tripartite pact, which I look at it as extra, you have to have Italy as Japan as a member as well, 3 of them. And so the values change a little bit, but they stack where they don't in standard black ice. So we can move towards that. This obviously brings Italy improved by 25%. I don't know exactly what they are right now. We could look up, but it doesn't really matter. It hurts us with various leftist type countries. In France, who sees it as a threat to it. Or not. So this is your, like I say, this is your chance if you're want to change your mind to decide that you're going for, I don't know, world conquest, or you just think Italy makes a terrible, especially AI, Italy makes a terrible ally and you just want to conquer it outright, then you better say no to this here, because once you have this and the previous the Pact of Steel event, which we're going to do, really sort of forces you now down the road of having Italy as your ally, for better or for worse. No, we have enough rare materials, it seems. So no more. I don't need to make... I'm not getting too many of those events that are making things go negative, but I don't need to make too many more supplies just for exports. You know what I am going to do here though is, this is hurting us because one event hasn't, or one effect I don't think is fired because we don't have enough steel. So Italy, no. Let's see, we can buy from the US. Yeah, they got excess steel. Okay, we have the money right now. We're going to buy steel. Okay, buy steel. Just when I start to get that in the green, we now have this. Okay, mountain unit training has advanced. That's good. We're going to stop up there now that it's at 38. We're not quite yet at 38, and I got higher priorities in 38. Yeah, I guess we'll go with mass events. Won't last long, but we'll sell supplies over to Poland. Poland won't hurt us any. I actually played a game earlier today with the improved Black Ice, or improved Hearts of Iron 4, just straight game, and normally it's so easy to take Poland. Poland just collapses really easily. That I sent about 14 divisions that I normally would just sort of have excess, but part of the Polish invasion over here to wait for this. You know, going west invasion, whatever you want to call it, Fall Gelb or whatever, but and they fought me to a standstill. Everywhere except for my my Panzer Army, which did burst, though it took a bit longer than normal, burst into Warsaw, and they hadn't, because most of their units were fighting, well, I mean, they were falling back slowly in most places. And a few, actually, I think roughly what would be this province or something in here had pushed in there against one division. So that was pretty smart of the AI and what it did. Now, so I sort of stopped it, and it's just taking too long. We're going to replay it, but it was just interesting to see that what had been, I don't care, it doesn't matter, we just crushed them super easy. Now I've got to take it a little more seriously. So it's getting better. Okay, SSHQs. And no, I'm not trying to sell you on it either. No command, yeah. It may sound like it. I'm mostly just trying to let you know what's going on with it. And you have to decide, and I know many of you do at least once in a while check in with my Hearts of Iron 4 videos, though you won't, well, you see a little bit of it in the Czechoslovakian one. It may have come out by this time because we were still doing the earlier Hearts of Iron 4 for the Japanese playthrough. And it was why I was really sort of getting frustrated with it, because I was playing the other one in the beta, and and playing that one publicly. Yeah, let's do that. And this will get some SSHQs. Yes, we'll go for that. And bad tilts down here. So, well, it's for fun, just we'll remove them later. Well, we may not. Or something, but that'll give us more security elements, because I think that's mostly what I'm going to use these for, because the SD element. You should have by now more than enough German security units compared through the various sub mods, because I haven't played with it yet. I'm going to hopefully get for this series, but I've added a bunch. Well, oh boy, Vlad Virgil, my Romanian contributor, added a bunch of or helped sort of do a lot of it, and I just sort of polish it up a bit. A lot of the Eastern Front ally Shumas, the security troops there. So events, and he added those, which really sort of help out. Okay, so we got 3-man turret. You know, we've talked about how important I think 3-man turrets are. Yeah, we're about a month away. And what does Turkey want? Give them money for rare materials. We no longer receive at least probably because they were going negative, but whatever. Part of what this is happening is, of course, is all these ICs are coming up, which expands our production, but also expands our needs. Okay. We're not doing money, and we're not doing rare materials from you at the moment. You see, I'm sort of hoping that all the extra money and whatever that goes to the U.S. will may help them build more units, but those units will all stay stuck in the U.S. Where if they go, help them build more units in Russia, those units I'll very likely face because I'm going to invade Russia. Still vaguely thinking about the U.S., but not heavily. They have ground controls, crews. Yeah, we'll let that go. Because many of you I know have been at least watched some of the British series that I did before this on Hearts of Iron 3, and how many U.S. units that were back in the U.S. that could have easily been sent overseas and would have made a huge, massive difference. But the U.S. didn't send them anywhere, so I'm sort of hoping they'll do the same with that kind of stuff. Okay, well. Part of the problem with these small ones, well, we'll try them out, is that they take ships for such a small amount of rare materials. Oh, another IC came up. Now at 407. Okay, so we're getting many more units into production here. Now I want to quickly look at some of these to see, okay, definitely want to expand that one. We're slowing down on IC production, but we're going to at least max out these that have industrial center. So check here. They don't have one. Look out here. Oh, we didn't, but here we go. I think we looked here. Yes, we did. Okay, so now let's come up here. Well, no, let's just move them to the top. That'll be fewer clicks. There we go. That'll keep all of the IC still in production, but reduce a few of the extra additional ground units. And now that we got 25 supply or spies, let's go for tech espionage with the U.S. Okay, destroyer crew training. And okay. Now I'm going to see if I can buy some more steel from the U.S. Compared to rare materials and such, it's cheap, so. And from Sweden, right here, okay. No, they don't have any extra. Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, rare materials from Italy, sure, if you want to sell us some. And a bunch more, some more. I see. Medium popularity, okay, well, not too much we can do about that at the moment. Yeah, we don't want to go to war economy in peacetime. Lots of penalties there. We'll want to do that as soon as we go to war. Okay. 4-engine and large fuel tank. Large fuel tank. And 4-engine airframe. Okay, so that... well, let's go with single engine prototype. Traction suspension. Okay, returning manpower back to the pool. Great. Love the 5 manpower. Not that it's a big deal, but sure, good to have. Okay, Brazil. We want to get this going back to, well, those additional factories. Which are also eating up our coal. Okay. Jagdflieger Schule 1 was formed in November 1937. And we're in Nutschen. I'm sorry. Okay, the school was renamed to Jagdflieger Schule 1 on February 1940. Operations, okay. So we can get to school, gain a bunch of officers, lose a little manpower, of course that would be the staff, and gain some resources. Okay, now it's 1,000 metal I've just built up there. Gonna hit me. But okay, I think maybe I've overdone it on some events. And that wasn't mine event, that was, I think that was Units of the Third Reich, or is it? Sorry if it was, or it's German graphical augmentation, don't know which right offhand. Yeah, okay, you can buy some supplies. Okay, I don't know, this could be one of the tragedies of World War II, or part of the element of it, is this province here, Czech-Polish had a Polish minority in it, and Poland wanted it. Poland wanted it so bad it was willing to collaborate with Germany to get it. From talking to my Czech friends, it doesn't seem like even Czechoslovakia was willing to go, oh, well, we'll change our borders to get firm Polish support or something. You know, and so I don't know who's more short-sighted. I fully understand the idea that Poland wants to protect Polish ethnic groups, but look, it has a large amount of land. I would say plenty of land. From what I understand of the population levels, you know, it looks pretty big to me. And again, I don't know the exact population level, but also the Pripyat marshes up here. That's very underpopulated. Now, I don't know how. I'm not thinking they were going to drain huge sections of them, but I figure to some degree there was population expansion territory there. So now, of course, I know people don't want to leave their homes. So either, you know, Czechoslovakia, this is sort of the biggest Czechoslovakia ever was, because it lost territory out here that never returned, even after the war. But this is also isn't much territory to give up to Poland either. So there was already, of course, Danzig was controlled by the German population inside. There was a couple of institutions like the post office that was Polish controlled, but basically everywhere else was German controlled. Not German government, but German people, and they were very, very pro-Nazi. I don't know how many, you know, were true National Socialists in the sense, because you often, as we've talked about, found a lot of people that voted for the Nazis, a lot of farmers and whatnot, were actually not terribly pro-Nazi. When it comes down to it, is that they were various, whether Protestant or Catholic Christians first. The Nazis wanted to erase all of that. Hitler very much wanted to erase all that. These people who voted Nazi were often voting for nationalism and stopping the communists and redressing the Versailles Treaty and all these other things, but they weren't otherwise overly Nazi. You know, so I wonder, the German minority there, were they strong Protestants? Were they strong Catholics? You know, I don't know, but they were strongly willing to be back part of Germany. So the Nazis had huge amounts of support there. And the Poles knew it. And the Poles, so, you know, I just look at why did they not move to form a alliance between Poland and Czechoslovakia. Now, Czechoslovakia was trying to get, or did have something of an alliance with the Soviet Union, but that's awfully weak. Now, Poland was, at least before Hitler came to power, for sure before Hitler came to power, was more worried about the Soviet Union than they were about Germany, even with the realization that at some day Germany might want some of its territory back. They were more afraid of Soviet Union. So, you know, I don't know. So it's sort of the tragedy is Poland wants it back. And so a delegation of the Polish minority in Czechoslovakia gave Prime Minister Milan Hozda their requests. Is the Polish government supporting the Polish minority in Czechoslovakia? We can get other nations to press Czechoslovakia. It will allow us to take what we want. Interesting. So Czechoslovakia will get an event which helps disrupt their national unity. I think whether it was the Polish central government, as in the top leadership, or other just other Polish national elements, they were definitely supporting the Polish minority there. And trying to cause trouble, but it wasn't nearly the effort or ongoing elements like we see with the Germans in the NS or SDP. Wasn't anything quite like that. It was significant, but it was nothing quite like that. Okay, we would get them. Well, we're going to end the episode here before it gets too long. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos, and of course, gotta say this. It's real important that we grow this channel. It just is. As one of the other YouTubers out there was saying on his channel, a lot of his videos have been demonetized, and even when they are monetized, it makes almost nothing. And I just, so you guys understand that, it's almost nothing. And he has more than I do, but so to keep this stuff going, we have to grow. So I don't know who it is that you guys, if you can appeal to, whether it's just going on to the Black Ice forum and poking the people there to watch the channel, to subscribe. If it's somewhere else in your life, if you get outside of your house once every month or something and bump into somebody on the street, maybe you could tell them about this channel. I don't know who it might be, but we really sort of need to grow the channel. And if any of you guys have a way that you think would grow the channel, I am hoping to do, and still working through the slow steps of it, of doing more Twitch videos that I hope that will get promotion for this and get people over here, but I don't know how well that's going to work. But if any other sort of forum or ideas on how to grow the channel that you know, I'd love to hear them. So I'm just trying to see what I can grow here, and if you know of a way to do it, it would really help out a lot. And all of you who do like the videos and who do post comments, that helps incredibly. It helps build a sense of community amongst a lot of you are regulars. I love it when you talk to each other before or after I get involved in the conversation. That's great. And just that sort of stuff. It helps also in the metrics with YouTube that people are, I think it is to some degree a percentage-based thing, is that people are engaged enough with these videos that makes it worthwhile for comments. So you guys commenting on it is great. So it's wonderful when you can do that too. That helps a lot. So I really do thank you for that as well. So, but you can find a way to help grow the channel. Really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.